Chapter 1118 is receiving a lot of hate, but I personally enjoyed most of it. If you haven't read the chapter yet, then do not watch this video. So the chapter begins with the ancient robot falling into the sea on all these marine battleships, and here we have Vegapunk still edging us. He says, "And their name is..." I'll get to that at the end. But then we start seeing the thoughts of the ancient robot, and he's confused where Joy Boy went. I guess it's because Luffy isn't in Gear 5 anymore. Top Man appears at the coast, and people are freaking out at the monstrosity that he is. We see the public's reaction to Vegapunk's message being cut off, and people assume he was taken out, and because there's news that Luffy kidnapped him, they think it was Luffy's doing. Even Leo is so gullible, he thought it was Luffy. I think it's Top Man asking York how many Vegapunks survived, and she tells him that there's only two still interfacing with Punk Records, Atlas and Lilith. So I guess this confirms the status of every other Vegapunk, unfortunately. And of course, Top Man wants to eliminate them. But since Punk Records can still function after Stella's gone, Top Man still wants to have access to it through York. The giant pirate ship begins to set sail just as Luffy, Dory, and Broggy get on the ship. And Luffy loves being on a ship like this. It's just so big. And one of the first things he says is, "Where is Usopp?" Because obviously Usopp would love it too. We see the fate of the Vice Admirals that were putting in work on the Giants. It looks like Bonnie got to them, and Doll is not happy. Luffy reunites with Oimo and Kashi. It looks like they're fine. Nami tells Sanji over the transponder signal that they'll be right behind them. Thanks to Edison, the Sunny will be able to launch into the ocean since the Frontier Dome is off. But then we see Mars swooping in from above the island. I love that there was a giant chef preparing for Luffy's arrival, and he still was not prepared enough. Mars starts shooting his fire laser beam at the Giants, and they're struggling to block it. And there's not much the Giants can do to combat this. It's definitely doing some damage to the ship and to the Giants. But then when Luffy activates Gear 5, his belly is so full, I guess, that the drums of liberation are like bass boosted like earthquakes. And Dory and Broggy start dancing, but they realize they gotta put out the fires. Luffy tries to encourage Bonnie to come help him fight. So Bonnie uses Distorted Future again. So they both go into some giant Nika forms, and we see Kuma kind of reminisce on what he told Ginny. And this is when the ancient robot recognizes Joy Boy's presence. I can understand why people wouldn't enjoy Bonnie being in this form, and I'm not the biggest fan of it myself, but I have faith that it'll be executed well. But that's not to say that we should be surprised by this, because we did know she could already kind of do this. Overall, I like this chapter because it's kind of transitioning into Elbaf, which I am so hyped for. I think what Vegapunk is referring to right here is the meaning of D itself. I think anyone who has D in their name is somehow related to whatever name Vegapunk was about to reveal. I like the theory that the D clan is people who are descendants of the Dawn pirate crew. It's a pretty cool theory. I will probably make a video on this, so look out for that.